Hey guys, I'm PM Matcher.
And I'm Massam.
Do you want to do the intro today?
Yeah. So I'm here at Trendy, super stoked. This is our PS4 reveal Devstream, and we're playing on a controller. It's real. I've used it for like 30 minutes now, and it feels so good. And we're gonna be kind of running through the PS4 version today.
We are. It's really exciting to show you guys it. We also have a lot of other stuff to announce for the stream. So just so you guys know, the PS4 version, it will be in pre-alpha when it launches on PS4. It will be from after Pets and Dragons patch. That's going to launch initially, and then we're going to catch it up. So you guys will notice throughout the stream that there's a bunch of stuff that will actually be behind the PC version as we go live, but there's also some stuff that will be ahead. For example, and local co-op, which we're going to show you guys soon.
I got my sticks ready. So I guess you want to walk them through the HUD. We've got
This is your first stream.
There's a list here. That's how you guys do it. Oh,
So guys,
you guys are so fancy.
So guys, there are contests every 10 minutes today.
Yeah.
So you can win the Squire Boxer heart hand. So let John show this to you really quick. Oh man, look at that DPS.
Someone said we don't look particularly fancy today. I got my button down on.
That's true. I have pink socks.
Oh, those are
Yeah,
nice.
these are fancy. That completes my
My
outfit.
socks. Oh, I've got
Oh,
stripes. Look at that. Actually, that's funny. I couldn't find the matching set, so I've got different socks on.
That definitely does not count as fancy. No.
I think that's pretty fancy. I woke up
Yeah, so if you do want to be fancy, you can look like the Squire in his heart boxers. If you win on the stream. So guys, please type in hashtag DD2 every 10 minutes when we do a contest.
They said the game sounds too loud.
Oh
So
man.
it was down earlier. Just hit start and just mute that. We tried to get the right audio mix, but might as well just tank it. Yeah, might as well mute it.
How's that, guys? Hopefully that.
We hear you guys. We hear you. Cool.
Alright, we'll see how that is. Guys, if it's still too loud, please let us know. This is our first time streaming on PS4. So before we get into PS4, there's actually some fun things we want to talk about the PC version that I'm actually going to have fun showing you guys off today. Man, when I play the PS4 version, I see some stuff the way it used to be on PC, and I'm just like, what is this, the hero manager? You mean I can't just swap the heroes in my Forge and press I? Oh man. So basically, let's turn the gain on this up. Okay, so what do we have today? We have the event for this weekend. Actually, this time it's a week-long event. I'm very proud of coming up with this name all by myself. This week-long event is going to be called Loot Cave 2.0. Do you want to say the catchphrase for it?
Fulfill your destiny.
Yes.
We're gonna get sued.
That's so
Alright.
good.
So show them. You have the image, I think.
Oh, that's so good.
So this is going to be a really fun event that we're doing this week. There's basically going to be more loot everywhere. So there's going to be more loot from victory chests. There's going to be more loot from special enemies, and there's going to be even more loot from normal enemies, which I think is really exciting. So it's called Loot Cave 2.0 week. We're going to see what you guys think. We're really excited for this.
Yeah, we've seen some people on the forums saying like, "Oh, these events happen only on the weekend. I got to work over the weekend." So hopefully, those of you who aren't able to get the weekends off are able to enjoy this event. So please, if you're that player, please let us know if this kind of setup works for you. See how you enjoy that.
Cool. So besides that, so it's funny because I've been preparing a video for all of you today with something that personally I'm really excited to have got in the game, or that to be getting in the game for the next patch. This is our reveal for the week. And actually, as I'm playing with the Huntress right now in the PS4 version, I'm just like, why is it not like what I was just filming videos of? So we do want to talk about it a little bit, and before we, I was just using this bow too. And before we play too much PS4 and show you guys all the controls and the menus and stuff, we want to reveal to you that there will be variety for ranged weapons in this next update. So this is really exciting, and we have a video that we're actually going to show you right now.
traps.
I know, I just love how fast I can place everything. It's blocked. How dare it.
Someone mentioned that they love the HUD.
Yeah, so one of actually my favorite things about the PS4 version of the game is the kind of HUD we have in the control scheme. It still has a ways to go. There's especially some bugs in the current version that I've learned to work around while playing. But I think... Oh man, are we not? Guys, we are going to show you this video. It is so awesome. I promise you.
So just
Yeah, let's mute it.
yeah.
Hold on, guys. Is it just not clicking once you click it?
Yeah.
Okay, just wait a sec. You should shut off the Devstream playing over there. That might help. Yeah, just close that. We'll shut the volume down.
It is so hot in this room.
It is so hot in this room. We're just going to be puddles of sweat after this.
I immediately regret 2 shirts in Florida.
Why would you even do that? Why?
Because I'm an idiot.
Alright,
I'm used to the mountains.
can we play the video?
Range weapons.
Yep. Bam! Here we go. Okay, perfect. Sorry guys, this is the first time, like I said, the PS4 capture device, so expect some technical difficulties. But we will get it down, I promise you. Alright, so we're looking at range weapon variation. We're going to let this loop and play it a couple times and talk about it. So there are a lot of features in DD1 that we all loved in the game. What was your favorite weapon, Josh?
Honestly, I liked the melee, what was it, the firebolt, the seppuku? It was like the long thing, and then we had the event on consoles where we like set some like crazy value where it's normally a sword that goes forward, but we set it to go backwards, so like nice and cool.
Yeah, that was marking that. That was a fun one. Yeah, so there's lots of really fun weapons in the first game, and now we're finally getting to the second game here. So there's a lot of right now what we've done is we've enabled the functionality for the process of creating the weapons. Oh man, it's too loud. Continue.
Your ears enjoy it.
Yeah, I think we can make it. So, but it's so awesome, guys. It's so loud and so awesome. Some of the really cool things here that we have is the ability to kind of spread projectiles out now, and they can be grouped in any kind of way that we spread it out. Also, we have the ability to do, spread shots that go in any different ways. We also have the ability to do kind of arcing mortar shots. So I think we'll see here in a second, you'll see the... I agree with Rorix. It should be louder.
It should be louder. I'll add like closed captioning on the YouTube video later.
Yeah, that was actually on purpose, everyone, because we wanted to make sure that it's like when you hear the Inception noise, in the theater, and you're like, I actually can't hear what they're saying, but then that noise is really cool. That's the same point. But anyway, so you can see here, now you'll notice that a lot of these don't have different projectile speeds. They have the same projectile speed that everything in the game does right now. That was because while we were recording it, we actually just got from Derek, he's one of the programmers, we just got the projectile speed code in. So we were able to do that on this last video here in this set that you'll see, which is this one here. But it was actually broken, so we could only either go the 1 per second shot or this like ridiculous, like break the game everything fast setting. I'm surprised that this thing
See, someone just mentioned
it is awesome. We are gonna try to do stuff like that. Obviously, it won't be that game breaking. It won't be thousands per second, but we are working on all these now. So I think this is really exciting. Do you guys have any questions? Now's the time to ask before we jump into the PS4 stuff. Also, we're going to have another reveal next week, and we'll show this later in the stream as well. What do you think, Josh? This is your first time seeing it.
I'm pretty impressed with like the functionality there. I love that one, like the one that's like shooting whatever it is out at the ogres. I really want that to be like a Legend of Zelda chicken gun, where it's like all the like angry chickens are like attacking people. Like I can't wait till we like do some like crazy stuff like that. I love the shotgun blast. That's really cool. I like the weapons that will probably change up the way that you're playing the game. There was a princess weapon. Oh, sorry, I'm probably behind. But the princess weapon that's shooting out left and right. I like the fact that it's like you have to be further back. Like you can't be too close or you're not going to hit the enemy. Like I like that we're thinking of things like that.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool.
You know, I think one of the really important things is that the variety when you play the game. Even though it's a fire campaign and it's fun, really your powers and saying like it's just like the dopamine rush in your head. Like, what is this? And you're like, another one. It's a form of auto. Perfect. So I'm going to question. So we have different ways of setting it up.
Can you stop the loop?
For the PS4 version?
Yeah.
Done.
So, and I'll actually jump into a map here, and we'll get you to join in a second.
So to repeat the question, there's a form of auto aim in the game. So how are the multi-shot projectiles going to work?
Perfect. So there's two kinds. There's actually three kinds of projectiles. I know two of them off the top of my head. There are homing projectiles. That is basically a projectile that will go towards the enemy. So you'll notice in the video there are like these spread shots videos that then hit. They like hit the enemy. So those are really cool. But then there's also, in addition to homing projectiles, there are just normal spread shots, and those can just go off anywhere. So those will just hit wherever they actually hit. What map do you think we should play? Say we can start with Bizarre. But yeah, so there's different things. I think we also had a question from Dark Python about the different spreads. Josh, stop typing. You're actually on the screen in person.
My bad.
Talk to people.
So, and all he's doing is talking himself up too. See the stuff he's putting.
Yeah. The ego, it just flows out on the camera.
But yeah, so we had a question before about the PS4 version of the game, and guys, if you have any other questions about the ranged projectile stuff that's going to be getting in, please ask. It will be a work in progress when it gets in, like everything else, but I'm super excited about it. This UI will be coming to the PC. This will be the PC controller UI. That's what we're working on. Some of the other menus that we're going to show you guys will not be coming immediately to the PC, but will be coming to the PC in the future. For example, we have completely new menus for all of the different.
I want that so much.
Yeah, and they're not the best yet. There's some stuff wrong. You can see in the bottom. There's like the hero name overlaps the kind of hotbar, but basically the menus are set up in a way that's more functional for a controller. So instead of the bag system, you just have boots, and you can go and pick and change out your bow, and it's a lot. Oh man, is that actually worse for me? Let's see. I don't know. I think that the one I have is better. Cool. Okay. So sweet. So do you want to jump in before we start the first wave?
Yeah. Let's do this. Who do I be?
You can be Tim.
I'll be PS4 producer Tim Shannon from now on.
Cool. So you just press the big middle button. I don't know what its official name is.
Yeah, Pressy. Oh my goodness.
Here you go.
Oh.
So you notice the UI did break. That will be fixed. Now we have big L1 and R1 buttons, but it's okay.
That was legit.
All right, let's go.
Huh. Let's see.
So guys, local co-op will also be coming to the PC as well in the future, but it will be behind the PS4 version. We are kind of working on figuring out how that we will get multi-account login for the PC version of the game.
I'm not gonna lie, that rumble whenever you hit people with a sword, man, got really excited. Oh my. Dude, it feels so good on this controller.
Yeah, so I know we've had a ton of people who have been asking for controller support for forever, so it is coming soon. And I think it's really exciting. I'm really excited to get it in the PC version. I'm really excited to play the PS4 version.
I still
Let
really
me get to the core.
No, I'm not. We're just taking on the core. Huh? I'm core. Dude, I really want every time you use a seismic slam for come on and slam from Space Jam. Just every time. Let's see if there are any questions from the chat so far. So expect him to answer more PS4 related questions. Absolutely. Will this local co-op be coming to the PC version?
So yes, the local co-op will be coming to the PC version, as will the controller support, and also all the controller UIs in the future.
So someone said, how many split screen players will it support?
It's going to support 2-player split screen, and that's all of our plans for now. It's actually it's be pretty taxing to do 4-player split screen with DD2, so we don't have plans to do it currently. Gonna play some tower.
Very grumpy cat
Oh,
has
my
said
bad.
3 times. Can we please add a poll?
I would love to get a portal gun, and I think this weapon variety that we're working on that we showed you guys, and I apologize if you guys couldn't hear us. I'd be happy to kind of go over it again later in the video. Maybe we can mute the audio in like half an hour or something and go through it again. But that's kind of our first step in weapon variety. I would love after that to get even more inventive weapons in the game. And also just to take some of our current weapons that are kind of inventive, but maybe not like as cool as they could be, and beef those up to make them super, super awesome for you guys to play with.
We're just gonna use we can use these as blockades. We'll be fine.
Scratchinator wants to know, will the controller HUD also be possible for people with keyboard and mouse?
Well, we're definitely going to be doing a new HUD for people with keyboard and mouse in the future. I don't know how soon that will be. So I don't think for right now this particular HUD will be available for keyboard and mouse. But we're definitely looking into doing a more stripped down HUD that's kind of, in this format. And I think if you guys paid attention to Influence Week, you've seen some of where we're going for the PC version.
It's like really hard to see this.
Place it behind the enemies, yeah. You gotta see past through the webcam. That's what makes it
Through
look
the
like,
webcam.
It makes it look like you're staring at everyone who's watching this.
Python wants to know, with the weapon passives the way they are now, will you use the weapons?
So that's a great question. So there's basically a lot of ways we're going to be applying the different weapon variety to the game. One way is in random, kind of randomized passives on items, like you were saying, so that maybe all items have a chance to roll multi-shot, things like that, or a large group of items. The other way we're going to be doing it is also creating specific weapons, so there may be a certain legendary type in the game or a certain build item that fires a certain way or fires within a range of a certain way. So those are the kind of the 3 different ways that we're looking at implementing some of the features that you saw over there.
Jim Kong wants to know, will DD2 be cross-platform between PC and PS4?
So DD2 will not be cross-platform between PC and PS4. Right now the versions are actually going to be off and slightly different. So the PS4 version in terms of features and content is going to be behind the PC version, but it will be ahead of the PC version in some of the stuff like controls and split screen UI. And that's just because of how we're developing both of the systems. It would actually slow down both of the respective parts significantly in order to have them synced up. So instead we're opting to kind of create the best experience we can at that time for each platform as it moves through its stages of early access.
Yeah, game volume is muted. Oh, I bet I know what's going on. No? Game volume is muted.
I don't even know where they're getting, I don't know.
Was that
Should be muted.
Yeah, that's weird.
Game volume is muted, guys, I'm sorry.
We can
I don't
check
know
and
what
see
to
if it's
say.
actually
Hold on,
muted.
back out. Back. Let me go to my options.
Let's check
Oh
and
no,
see.
I guess it's just whenever I do options, it's yeah.
Oh, I don't hear any game audio. What game audio do you guys hear? It looks
What if the video is playing in the background?
Negative. The video is not playing.
Well, it is pulling some other audio source there. Let's see. We are investigating, guys, and we will figure it out. Gotta leave this menu.
Let's see what we got here.
The TV is not.
Yeah, the TV is muted.
It's muted, guys.
If they hear game volume, then can you?
The TV is muted, guys.
Let's see. That's interesting. In the Elgato game capture, can you just turn the volume to 0? Click the output audio, unclick it. Where it's right there. Is there, what's the option below it? Or is that a volume slider down there?
Let's do that.
Or yeah, just
Alright, guys, how about that?
I think what's happening is that as a split screen player, my volume is still playing, but your volume is muted. So we'll talk to Tim about that. Someone asked a great question about resources for the PS4 version. I think it was Syndicate who asked earlier if there are devs working on the PS4 version. Does that mean there are devs being taken off the PC version to work on the PS4 version?
So yeah, so we actually, that's a great question. We have a separate development team. You guys may have heard of them, Human Head, who are actually playing, or actually, sorry, creating, they're also playing, but they're working on the PS4 version of the game. So our kind of process has been to send them over what we have at a specific point in time for PC. So that's why the Pets and Dragons stuff now, and then they get that onto the PS4, and then after that we give them what we have next. So for example, after this build, when this one goes live, which is at Pets and Dragons, we'll probably be able to get them Loot and Survive, or be able to skip to Alpha and Beyond. That's something that we're actively figuring out now, and then that would be the next update for PS4. In addition to all the separate changes that they're making for controller and controller UI. And then when we actually, alternatively, when we pull over the PS4 stuff, that's kind of when we're getting the controller support stuff in to the PC version as well. So we're kind of merging up and down both ways. They're working on some separate things and we're working on some separate things. And we intend to kind of improve both of those things separately. So, as the PS4 players are saying, hey, we really want to, have this controller thing fixed, or we really want, to have this different menu. Those kind of things will happen over probably in PS4 first, and then as we get to the next milestone on PC, get merged over.
Alright, from Rorix, will there be add-on support for PC for things like damage tracking, UI, etc., etc., etc.?
Damage tracking UI? I'm not sure. Do you know what he's talking about, Josh?
I would assume he's talking about custom UI support, or
So
maybe being able to add things on screen of like tracking how much damage you've been dealing.
Yeah, I think he's talking about like just making add-ons like you do for World of Warcraft and stuff.
Yeah, I think at this time there are no plans for that, but in the very, very far future, if that's something that people are really interested in, it may be something that we investigate. I definitely think a lot of the focus right now is on, the core functionality. Like, one of the things that we try to emphasize is when we were in pre-alpha, a lot of the focus was on putting in new systems in the game, trying to get all the systems that the game needed to just function in. And now that we're in alpha, we're still working on new systems, but we're really focused on kind of tuning and balancing. And I think you'll see with the next update that comes out, we're making a lot of changes based on your guys' feedback and based on how we've played the game to make it more satisfying and more fun and kind of amp up the power fantasy of the game, make the usability of the game better. and then add in features that kind of approach those things as well, like fixing some of the inventory stuff, which we just started to do last week finally, or doing stuff like the weapon variety, which will let us make really interesting content for the game now that we're kind of at the point where we're just beginning to do that. Getting a little hot in here?
Oh my gosh.
2 shirts in full. I don't know what the heck you were
Yeah, you didn't remember what state you were in.
It was okay until we got locked into this room of death.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm really kind of happy about with the PS4 version, and it's going to be cleaner in the future. I've seen some mock-ups for the split screen UI later on, but just as how clean the UI is and how easy it is to kind of see everything, even though we're in split screen. So I'm kind of really excited to see how that progresses, and to see and to get, like, right now the map and the thing is just awkwardly in the middle of the screen, to get that actually on, like, both sides of the screen separately, and into a really good, like, really able for anyone to play a split screen experience.
Alright, from Scratchinator, do people playing on split screen share loot, or is it still separate loot?
Still separate loot, so you still get instant loot. Your buddy still can't pick up your own loot from you.
Alright, from Like Frogs, what about a new end boss? Betsy isn't the real end boss, is she?
No, she's not. There are going to be many more bosses in the game. The game is far from over. Betsy's kind of like your first taste at a boss. And our current plan is for, with each adventure pack we release, to release a new boss for the game. And that's kind of why we're holding back on some of the maps, because we want the sets of maps to have bosses with them. And we're actually... everyone else is playtesting our next boss right now. We'll playtest it after the stream.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
But yeah, so there's so it's still a bit out for the next boss, but it is stuff that we're actively working on right now.
So 30 minutes in, do we want to start taking some of these forum questions?
Yeah, why don't you start?
All right. So first question from the forums. Let's see. Are we between waves? All right, that's good. When playing solo, you need 4 builders and a DPS hero. At this stage, we can only have 4 builders and no DPS hero. What is the reason for the Trinity team not adding a 5th hero to our hero deck? And if so, if you are going to add it, when will it be? So, we're pretty aware of all the concerns about the hero deck that are on the forums right now. I just talked to design, and as Dan, I think, mentioned last week, we're going to be looking into the hero deck and making sure that that the hero deck isn't something that's kind of a pain point for players, because we're well aware that it's pretty frustrating for players right now, and we're looking into ways of making sure that it's what players want it to be, and that it's an enjoyable system.
Mm-hmm. And just remember, there's always the kind of trade-off there that we're also well aware of, where we want everyone to be able to play with as many heroes as they have and not feel restricted in doing that. And all of you guys are saying that this is something that we want to do, and we recognize that. But also, on the same hand, there are a ton of players who only play with one hero, and there are other problems associated with that, to be honest, we have within the current system right now, where players will jump into a map and they want to build, and other players don't let them build. So it's definitely something that we're probably going to end up solving in a different way besides just the hero deck, but it is something that we are actively thinking about. See, I'll grab the next question. You can make sure we're ready for the
You
wait.
guys want me to read since you're busy?
Yeah, we're too busy playing. Why don't you ask us the questions?
I have been known to read before.
You can read? You're literate? Jeez, you surprised me.
Just no math. Just no math, because I was told there'd be no math. Alright, can we get rid of the scavenger and simply allow the tib to be as it once was, except that it can be used like any other bag?
So we're actively going through a lot of the inventory changes that we outlined in Blacksmith's, also known as Daniel Haddad. He's our creative director, or one of them, post a couple weeks ago. So if you guys want, you should check that out. But essentially, we are returning the functionality of the tib, but better in my opinion, and I think in a lot of other people's opinion too. where it's kind of a multi-step process. The first thing that we wanted to get in was auto-collect for you guys. So you can now, if you go to any bags on your inventory, you can mark them as auto-collect. The next thing we want to do is increase bag size and give you the ability to increase the size of your bags. So that way you can say, I want a 128 slot bag, or maybe I just want this 32 slot bag. And once we do that, then you'll really have the functionality of the tib back as before, whereas then you can create yourself a really large bag and you can have everything auto collect into it and you can sort it as you wanted. And then additionally to that, we're going a couple steps further with inventory. We're adding, level 18.
Nice.
We're adding and filtering to the inventory, so you can filter and highlight, items by tier or by type or by what character it's for. And then we're also going to be adding in auto collect filters. This is potentially in the far future. This isn't on the schedule right now, but it's kind of designed out already, which is basically the ability to set up auto collect bags for different things. So imagine a system where you could say, I want this bag that has the orange huntress's face to only collect legendaries for the huntress. Those kind of things. And then we think once we have all those different features in, you'll have a really, oh man, we won.
Yeah.
So we can high five.
What's
on the
up?
couch. So
That's right.
It wasn't that difficult. We can put.
This is why
ourselves
we
in
have
the-
a couch, just for high fiving.
But yeah, so and then you'll really be able to kind of fully control your inventory and manage it in a really positive way, I think.
Alright,
Treat me like a pirate and give me that booty.
will hero DPS be viable at any time?
Oh man, I got that upgrade, and this isn't Pets and Dragons when it was difficult.
Yes.
Hero DPS is in a poor state compared to the towers. When can we expect to see the multiple projectiles and all those other interesting mechanics added in for them?
So there are a lot of questions. There are two different questions there. The first one is viability of hero DPS. So we're kind of aware that hero DPS probably isn't where it needs to be in in-game. So I know that the design team is looking into the balance of hero DPS at the in-game. So that's kind of the focus right there for that part of the question. The other part was, when are we going to see the multi-shot and the weapon variety stuff?
That's just going to be in the next
update.
patch.
Yeah.
So not the next
Oh.
hotfix, but in the next patch.
Yeah.
So you will start to see that stuff soon. Like I said, it won't be all done when it gets in, but it will be interesting. And I think that it's going to make it also just a lot more fun and a lot more choice in how you do DPS. Come on, let's go.
I already hit. Weird. I hit it.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
Select a tavern.
The next question
You're so
is,
bossy.
what
Alright.
about
Do it my way on this game. What's up? Sorry.
My bad.
Josh has had too many Coca-Colas.
Yeah, I'm all jacked up on Coca-Cola apparently.
What about pet DPS?
Weren't you talking to Design about pets?
Yeah, so we're aware that pets are in a perceived bad state right now, and I think there's a couple things in the pet system. I'm talking for myself personally right now that affect that. And actually, if you want, you can load us into a map of your choosing, or we can actually show some of these UIs really quick, so you can see a lot of these UI navigations. Oh man, I got it. You can see basically, and the buttons are on the bottom right now, but we're also thinking about putting them where they are. But L1 and R1 switch between menu tabs, just like other console games, and then you always have a list of things that you can scroll through. Then X is select and circles back, and so pretty simple to navigate. Controls here, actually a big fan. Let's see, monk costume. Actually, I don't know if that'll work, so I'm not gonna do that. But so onto the pet question. So there's a couple of things with pets that that are like problematic. One is that when pets really grow when you evolve, both in power and in utility, and a lot of people aren't growing their pets. And there are lots of reasons for that. But so one of the things that we're investigating is, should there be that big of a power difference from just when you find a pet to when it's maxed out in order for it to be useful. Additionally, I think pet ability damage scales entirely off of hero damage, which is also a problem because a lot of people aren't building for hero damage, so your pet ability may not be really strong because that scales off of your hero damage. In addition to that, there may just be buffs that need to be done in pets in general. So kind of aware of that, and I think I've kind of asked the designers. Oh no, let's see if that works. Here we go. I kind of asked it. Oops. Up.
That pre.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, go back in. So I've kind of asked the designers to kind of take a look at it, and we'll see where that goes in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we get some good buffs to pets across the board.
So I'm gonna keep. Or you're reading them off, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready for the next one?
I am.
Will you please create a "This is our intended purpose for this turret blockade" blog?
So I think that's a really interesting one. I think the answer is that we really want you guys to kind of feel like you can create your own uses for the defenses, and obviously there's not enough items in the game. The passives aren't necessarily where they be. There's a lot of balanced work left in order to do that. So I don't think we have any intention of telling you what they're for and how to use them, but instead looking at the things you guys aren't using, and then slowly in the future actually, fixing that.
Oh wait. Go back. I think the issue are the heroes. Go to your manager and take out the other heroes. That old pre-loot and survive thing.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Next question.
There you go. And then I'll join in on you.
Sweet.
If I make a private game for soloing, why do I need to wait 10 seconds for other players who will never arrive? Which is a nice existential question.
So I definitely think that's something we'll look into in the future. It's an obvious, man, my finger keeps hitting the PlayStation button. It's certainly one of those things that when you play it is pretty obvious. It's like, hey, why is this here? Oh, do you want to jump in?
Go ahead and jump into the map, and then I'll jump in from there.
Okay, safe door. Let's do Rampart.
Alright, you can do Ramparts.
Ruins.
Yeah.
I like ruins. So, and so it's one of the things that we'll be looking at. It's just in terms of priority, it's not as high as some of the other big things that we're working on.
You guys ready for the lightning round?
Are we?
You guys ready for the
There are a
lightning
lot
round?
of questions there, sir, that I did not
Lightning
hear,
round?
but I might have been tuning in and out.
Yeah, definitely tuning in and out.
I guess I am.
Unless there's more than 2 sheets.
There's a third sheet. There's a front
see, you were
sheet.
keeping it so that
Yeah,
could
here you
show me
go.
up exactly.
Oh
at
wait,
this
no,
moment.
I kept it.
We asked the first question, but we haven't started on the second question down.
About 32.
Word.
Blue 42.
Alright, so in regards to the 32-bit OS issue, has any progress been made towards a solution?
So we actually, one of our brilliant tech artists, Cliff, is working on, and I'm pretending like the poison blockade build is already in.
I think I don't get a chest since I loaded in afterward. You got all the mana.
No, try it and see.
What is it, X?
Yeah, just X. I think it's bugged where it doesn't. Yeah, you gotta. I don't think it won't tell you to open it, but I think it will open if you try to open it.
Dear mana, sir, please let me into your treasures.
Yeah, I got all the mana.
Yeah, you got it.
Sweet.
You're just dropping towers then.
Sorry, what was that question again?
In regards to the 32-bit OS issue,
So-
has any progress been made towards a solution?
So one of our brilliant tech artists, Cliff, has done some kind of big memory optimizations across the game that we're trying to figure out when to release. We're testing them right now. Let's see how this works. I don't think it'll work very well.
I'll just take down here.
Yeah. So we are looking into it. I don't know how soon it will be fixed, but it's something that we are looking into. If you do have problems on 32-bit, because of memory limits. So if you upgrade to a 64-bit operating system, you should resolve many of those issues for a lot of people.
Oh, this is a good question real quick from the chat. I see a moon-based update for DD1. What is that?
Why don't you answer that?
Yeah, so there's a new update for DD1 out right now called the moon-based
Shit, I got
update.
through.
Oh no! Phil, why?
It's because they're not blockades in this build.
So the Moonbase update brings a ton of quality of life changes that DD1 players on Steam have been asking for a long time. So you get that, and then you get Moonbase, which is a new challenge map in DD1. But even better than that is that this update, we've been working behind the scenes with a group of community members who are known as the Community Development Team, and we've kind of given them the tools and the access they need to update DD1, the official ranked version of DD1, pretty much here until the future, like however long like they want to keep updating the game, however long people want to keep seeing new content for DD1. We've given the community the tools to do that, so you can expect to see the first update from the community development team, I think really soon, much sooner than you would expect. They've been working on it for a while now, and they've got some really cool stuff up their sleeves. So if you pay attention to DungeonDefenders.com/1 to go to the original Dungeon Defenders website, you can then see blogs and updates and forum posts from the new community development team.
And alternatively, there's actually like a little button next to the Dungeon Defenders 2 logo, which is a down arrow. And if you click on that, you'll also see the page for Dungeon Defenders if you don't remember the URL.
All right, I got 2 questions for placing towers. One is from V Syndicate, and
Sorry, I just realized this guy's name is Timmy Trash Tier.
Yeah, that's Tim's name.
that's pretty funny. While placing towers, can you rotate them after setting them like in the PC? I haven't seen you do it yet and would like to know how it functions on PS.
Yeah, so I'll show you. Don't press start really quick. We'll both show you at the same time. So basically, what you do is oh man, now I just screwed us over. You're gonna have to build some towers here. So basically, you look where you want to place it, and you hold down the place button. And when you hold down the place button, it won't place automatically, and you can just kind of point it wherever you want by looking, just like in the PC version. You can also point it by moving, but that's not as things. So you can basically use either analog stick. And then once you choose the location you want it to be in, you just let go, and it's placed.
And corollary to that, 0 baguette 0.
And we need a tower here.
Alright, I'll come over there and then rebuild those blockades.
What are the odds of DD2 getting a move towers ability so you don't necessarily have to sell a poorly placed blockade mid-wave?
Like what I just did.
It's certainly something that's possible in the future. Who knows where it would show up, or if it would show up on a new hero, or if it would show up in a pet, or on an item or something. But it's certainly something that's interesting, and I think will be thought about in the future.
All right. Next question. First, there was the Serenity Slow and Frostbite abuse, which you rerolled gear for. Then there was the Frostbite no shooters that you didn't reroll for. Now DPS abuse is on top with no reroll. How are you going to deal with post-patch exploits in the future? Rerolls, hotfixes, bans?
So it's really going to be on a case-by-case basis in terms of how pervasive it was and what we decided to do. Like we said, when we're in alpha, which we're in right now, we will be we can do wipes or those other things. Once we switch to open alpha, we'll handle it just like we would any other online game if a patch got through or a new exploit was found, in terms of maybe targeting just the people that were using the exploit and doing something to them, or finding other methods. So it's really on a case-by-case basis based on kind of how severe to the health of the game an issue was. What do you think about this, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that it should be on a case-by-case basis. I would say that one of my personal hesitancy points is that whenever you wipe or reroll, it just really angers the community. And even though people are understanding of why those things need to happen, I just think that it's something that shouldn't be done lightly. It should definitely be something that we take into consideration and really think on it, because they do have an effect on we want to treat the players' time and investment in our game, even in this early access period, with as much respect as possible.
Yeah, and it's really funny because we talk about it a lot, and a lot of people, we did the influence vote on wipes, and people say they want wipes and they want the health of the game in early access to be as good as it can be. But people are also playing the game, and they're enjoying playing the game. And when people have put in hundreds of hours using an exploit because it was fun, then the question is, do you really remove everything that they've done? And that's just it's on a case-by-case basis for where it is. And as we get further into early access, we'll be less likely to take us such drastic measures and do those sorts of things. And really, it's about having fun, and we want people to have fun while they're playing.
Next question. With the retuning of gold in closed alpha, many are finding it nigh impossible to level up pets' power levels. Are you planning on making it cheaper to level up pet power level?
That's certainly something that's on the table that we've been discussing. Either cheaper or making it easier to get the more powerful pet food in order for you to be able to upgrade your pets. Like we kind of talked about, whoa, my loot tooltip started working again. Like we talked about before, there's going to be some pet changes coming down the line. So.
Alright, is Boost Aura going to get a buff or a decent passive? Compared to Ice, which has slow, speed increase to traps and auras, and decent damage buff, Boost seems very lacking right now.
So I think a lot of the stuff that people aren't using are definitely going to get a boost in the future. We are a lot of times it seems like we kind of start to focus on one thing and then focus on another thing, and that's really because we're trying to work on what we think is the most important for the player base kind of as a whole at any given time. And we just did a survey. I think we're going to release the results, but people really, really like the builds that are in the game, and it's a priority for us to get more of those in. We have the next 4 designed. I know we've said that they're all going to release for the next patch, but we're kind of debating that right now based on some other changes that we're making to the game as well. But also, we really want to make the base towers themselves viable, and so we don't necessarily want to just add a build for a tower that's useless to make the tower useful. So we're going to be approaching those things in both ways, and it will be a process, and that's really what alpha is about finding those things. And then even more so, beta is like the really small fine-tuning of things, like everything pretty much works, and you're like tweaking it left and right. But I'm sure in alpha you'll see us wholesale kind of change some of those stuff and experiment with it to see what everyone likes the most.
Alrighty. Are you guys working on fixing the aggro issues with the barricades? The mobs clipping through them or just ignoring them? If so, how far have you gone?
So the issue with the blockades is that enemies kind of prioritize what aggro targets that they choose to pull, and this has actually been in the game for a long time. It's not something that's new. Just the current meta has people using blockades a lot more than it ever did before. But basically, the blockades, the enemies fight for aggro with the blockades versus the core. And because the core is prioritized as higher right now, there are situations where, and we have verified this internally, where the enemy will basically just ignore your blockade and bolt straight for the core. So we are looking into it. We are looking into fixing it. I don't know the progress on the actual fix now, but it is bugged and it is being looked at. And then there's some other things that we haven't kind of talked about yet that also may factor into this particular issue and help fix it as well, that the design team is currently investigating.
Alright. Do you intend to give players who already play Nightmare or Endgame an additional option to level their alternates if and when a new hero comes out?
That's a really good question. It's definitely something we're going to look into. I know there is a lot of issues that are kind of on the back burner right now with Endgame not kind of giving loot, not giving XP. For example, you can't level up your costumes in Endgame, which is where most people probably have their costumes to level up. So there's a lot of things there that we're going to be looking at in the future. Oh no, I died. Damn. What are you doing?
I'm actually building.
Okay, good.
I'm just upgrading stuff. We've got 186, you've got 77. So.
Alright. What plans, if any, are there to enhance hero development, i.e. changes, additions to skill spheres and passive builds?
A billion, cajillion, zillion plans. We're constantly looking at and one of the things that the design team is actually really focusing on looking in right now is how you feel that you're invested in your hero. Like I said, we're in the pre-alpha phase. We got a lot of cool systems in that let us do some powerful things. We got so many different ways to customize your heroes and your towers. Honestly, a lot more than the original game had. And now it's about, okay, well, how do those work and how do those make you feel? And some of those are systems changes and not. So one of the things the design team is investigating right now is how can we better take kind of some of the stuff that skill spheres let you do, like the small skill spheres let you choose stats for your character, and how do we make it so that that feels more like you're picking stats for your character and feel more rewarding. So we're looking into that, but also we're just looking into what are new ones that we can provide and what are ways that we can make existing ones even better for players.
Alright. Now are you guys ready for the lightning round?
Think so.
Yeah. Hit me.
Remember, it's yes or no, or maybe. Any other answers will get you a like that noise. Ready?
Maybe.
Right now in the game, we can't rename our heroes. Will you add the function to be able to rename heroes in the close future?
Maybe.
We want it.
I already failed, Josh.
I know. It was a simple question. Any chance of more varied Ubers with more visual flair?
Yes.
When will the 15-minute timer be removed from private matches?
Maybe.
I guess, yeah. That should be it. What is
Sounds
this?
like my bad.
Is this old man that I keep seeing mysteriously hidden on levels important?
Maybe.
Yes.
Ooh, a mixed answer.
He gave the not mysterious answer. Jeez.
Alright. In one word, what was the most fun feature in the game to implement?
How is this a lightning round question?
We can just
one.
ignore
Alright,
the
it's
yes
still
no
one-
maybe. Just quick answers.
No, it's gotta be yes, no, maybe, but this one is also just one word, so you could just use one word. Alright, so
Cromulent.
I like pets. I would have said pets, but that's okay. Will we get more icons for loot bags?
Yes.
If the game ends and there's loot left on the map that doesn't get auto-collected, is it sold for gold?
No.
Is it just trashed?
Yes.
I like that. That was a nice save. I know the original question there.
Yeah. Can we please have pet affections and pet power levels stay the same when evolving? Since the pets are still as experienced and loving before the evolution as they are after.
So I'm gonna give a longer answer. I talked to design. They said this should be happening. If you're seeing a pet that's like not saving its progress or whatever, just like talk to me on the forums about what you're seeing.
Alright. Can we expect new kinds of weapons soon?
Yes.
Yes.
This is actually from the forums from
Save it.
from
Save it,
Finmar.
Josh.
Will there be grenade launchers, crossbows, guns, or flamethrowers with proper weapon models?
Maybe.
I didn't hear the question.
I'll elaborate on that one a little bit. Right now we're focusing for ranged on the different kind of shooting types within existing weapons, bows. It would actually be a lot of work to add a gun type weapon for the Huntress because it would involve editing all of her animations, adding new ones, and then doing that for all of her costumes as well. So it's definitely something that's on the minds of everyone. But right now the focus is on kind of with the existing meshes within those animations for figuring that out. We do have some fun things that we will be talking about for melee heroes next week, though, as our reveal.
Nice.
So I think that that'll be fun to show everyone.
Alright. Trading functions. Anytime soon?
Maybe.
Uh,
Oh, we did it.
Do we have plans to add user-generated content or user-created content utilizing the Steam Workshop?
No. But we would like to. We just don't have plans right now for it.
Does the dev team think that loot in general is underwhelming as far as upgraded stats goes?
We think there are a lot of issues
Yeah.
Yes, we think there's a lot of issues with it, and we're looking at them all individually. I think this is also one that warrants a longer answer. We are really looking at, a lot of the community talk is that there are just, in DD1, there were eight stats that would roll on an item?
Yeah, 10 stats overall,
So-
8 slots for stats.
Yes. So, there's a good chance that the stat that you wanted you would get. It might not be as good as you wanted. It might have been negative for some poor parts of development that people may not remember. Negative to the point where you hated the item. But and some were negative in a really cool, awesome way. But it was a lot more chance to kind of get what you wanted. And because we've gone the path of really specific items with passives that you can combine in really cool ways, there's a lot less of a chance for you to get the exact item that you want. And so now that we have a lot of these things in, we've gotten more in, we're starting to really look at, how we can, and we've talked about this a lot internally, but just how we can make it so that it's not so much RNG based. And I'm just going to tell you some things that we've discussed. These are not happening right now. So this is not like, oh, hey, Trendy's working on this and it'll be out in the next hotfix. But, we've discussed a lot of the ideas on the forums about doing smart loot. So, for example, rolling for the hero you have. But there's obviously issues with that because in our game you may have a hero that you're not playing with that you don't, that you want to find. We've talked about maybe somehow selecting what kind of loot you want to find, where you're saying like, okay, well, I'm looking for, DPS gear, or I'm looking for tower gear, and then kind of bundling up. Both of these require kind of bundling up stats and passives and rolling in smart ways to in order to make that more likely to happen for you. So we're talking about all the things and trying to figure out what the best solution will be, because at the end of the day, it is incredibly important for everyone who plays the game to be really satisfied and find an item you want. And of course it's a loot game, so there's going to be some RNG. You can't find like the exact item you want the first goblin you kill. That would be no fun. But it really sucks to find a bunch of items that are just, you're like, no one would use this item. This item has, these 3 things on it that don't make any sense. So working on that. That was a long, lightning round answer. I apologize.
But it was needed. I think community really wanted to hear that.
They did, but still. Alright, how about a pause button?
Maybe. I do want to elaborate on just like some of the reasons why there's timeouts and those kind of things. These are things that you'll normally find on server-based games, and it's because when you're playing the game, and this is really to prevent kind of the hacking that was in the first game, you are playing on a server that's on a server farm, and basically if you pause your game and go away for 10 hours and come back, you have reserved that server for yourself for 10 hours, which is really expensive. So we basically can't, that's why there's no pausing, and that's where there's a timeout timer. Now we will definitely be looking into, certain game modes like Onslaught. People say a lot, I got up to this wave and I don't want to do that again, and we're definitely looking into design ways in which to make it so there are quality of life issues there that may not necessarily involve like leaving the game for long periods of time. What we have discussed is some stuff that other server games do, which is allowing like temporary or timed pauses, because everyone has to go to the bathroom for once in a while. And I know there's some online games, not a lot, but some. I think Dota has one where you could do like a vote pause. It's like, I need to pause the game, but someone else could just unpause it if they wanted to.
Alright,
Keep rolling at these.
do you get more XP for keeping subcores?
Yes.
Yes.
Will you do a full wipe including gear before release?
Probably not.
That's not a good lightning round question.
Probably
That's on me.
Alright. Will we ever be able to select what beams of light we want to show for dropped gear?
God, I hope so.
Possibly.
Can we please have more room for pets next week?
In the future,
So not next week.
maybe.
How about hotkeys to change the hero?
Maybe.
Fucking has that. I want to set them up on the F keys.
Yep, that's yeah.
Yeah.
F1, 2, 3.
F1, 2, 3. Just pop, 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 pop.
Pop to James.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go talk to him right after this. Like, sir, please.
Alright, that's it. You guys did it. We did it, Trendy.
Well, there's a good conversation happening. I'll
About
go
the
back
hero
and read
deck.
that conversation.
It's about the hero deck.
So what's the
gotcha.
conversation?
So what are they talking about, Mr. Butter?
The key is there's two camps. One camp wants to keep the hero deck as it is, and the other camp wants to either remove it entirely or limit to 2. And I think it comes down to fundamental differences in gameplay styles.
So yeah, so I mean that's really the debate, and it's certainly something worth talking about. I think one interesting idea with that could be to somehow let people who matchmake choose what kind of session they want. They want a session where people can have a lot of heroes, or if they want a session where people can have a few heroes. Of course, that splits matchmaking even further, so it's difficult. And I think that's one of the things about Dungeon Defenders being a multiplayer game that's always really challenging, is just there's so many different ways to play that everyone has different ways to play, and they're matchmaking with people that have other ways to play. And that's one of the reasons why free-to-play will be nice, because there will be tons of people playing, so you have more likelihood to find someone who's playing the way that you would like to play. But it also definitely makes it difficult in developing systems. I was going to say, do we still have the persistent poison bug here? It looks like not. It makes it hard to find people who play in your style, so but we'll see. Definitely some thoughts in the future about increasing hero deck size, at the very least to give you more slots to have per your hero, and definitely still the concern that the more we do that, the less likely people are to cooperate in co-op. And I think we've seen a lot of comments recently about how as we make solo play more, not more viable, it was always viable, but when people feel like solo play is optimal compared to co-op play, then they say that they have less fun because they feel like they shouldn't play with their friends and they should just play by themselves. So that's definitely something that we're looking into, because Dungeon Defenders is a lot of fun to play with your friends.
Mm-hmm. On the couch.
Yep.
That split screen. So we're running over by a few minutes, but I would like to take the opportunity, maybe just like another minute or two. If there's any question that you've been asking in the chat that we weren't able to get to, if you want to go ahead and ask it now, and we'll pick one or two of those questions, because I know sometimes we miss all the questions in the chat. It's impossible to get to them all. But.
And also, just to recap, if we can put that video on without sound,
I don't know if
this time.
It's every time it starts up again, it turns the sound back on.
Interesting.
Huh. Can we just mute the game audio sound for completely?
I can turn off everything.
All sound?
Yeah.
You can't just turn off the game audio sound?
The game audio sound should on.
Not the game audio sound, but the video audio sound.
Yeah, I mean I try, but every time it restarts, like it's already over here. You know what I'm saying?
Kivo149 asked, are there any plans for smarter loot? I think Phil talked about that a few minutes ago, just talking about things we're kicking around.
Well, let's put it on anyways, and you can turn it down every day.
Alright.
But we can keep going with the questions.
Okay. Whatever happened to the boost cards that were in the hero deck, like taking 3 heroes instead of 4 and getting a gold bonus? I think they're talking about the Influence Week thing.
Yeah, so those are all ideas that are on the table for the hero deck. There were, I think, 3 influence ideas that won. There was the hero deck idea, there was the social hub, and there was the accessible UI. And you can already see bits and pieces of all of those coming out in the updates. The hero deck was expanded from 3 to 4, and will most likely be expanded further. There's the bonuses for maxing out the heroes, and we're going to be looking into additional bonuses as well for the accessible UI. Some UI changes went in, like tower interaction icons and stuff, and more are going in the future. We have the in progress new UI, and we have the we have the title screen that's in progress as well. And then you guys have all seen, if you watch the devlogs, shots from the new socials.
During Blitz, did there be that purpose-focused staff like this to come together? Talk about that earlier too. If there is a we're kind of like gathering data on a lot of different things about satisfaction and potential ideas that have been kicked around on the forums and internally. So if you go to the forums, you can check that out. But that's definitely something that has been talked about internally, and we're trying to figure out how players feel about things like that. Is the slow on the Serenity Aura working? Yes, it
It's
should
just low.
be.
It's working. It's just really low. So it's
Yeah.
definitely something that we're gonna take back and have design look at. But it is functioning. It's just only a 10% slow. The tooltip's a little misleading.
What do you think of the idea to increase defense damage resistance on a boost aura while also slightly reducing their DU cost, and essentially changing their usage from defense damage boosting to defense resistance boosting? It's kind of neat.
I think that's a really cool idea. That's
Yeah.
definitely something that will float to the design team. And I think, like I said, we are aware that we need to look at a lot of defenses and their viability. It's just a matter of prioritizing that versus some of the other stuff we're doing.
SG Rock said, "Thank you for not suddenly aborting the stream at the top of the hour." No problem, man. We love talking to you guys. This is, early access, getting all of this feedback and really having that back and forth conversation is really important to improving this game. Is the pet on the right the October monthly pet?
No, these are actually just the two base dragon pets from
I
a
think
long,
they're
long
talking
time
about
ago from
on the
Pets and Dragons.
stream.
It
What
is a
is
secret monthly pet.
Someone asked, why is Nightmare 4 unbeatable at the moment? Has that been asked? Actually, Nibbles asked, why is Nightmare 4 unbeatable?
I don't know if it's unbeatable, but I don't think it's been beaten.
Yeah.
One of the things that we wanted to do with the Nightmare difficulties is set up Nightmare 4 for the future, where Nightmare 4 is when we get the different builds, and you'll be able to then combine those and play Nightmare 4. So there's been some suggestions that maybe we just shouldn't have put Nightmare 4 in. But at the same time, I think it's fun to kind of have that hard content in the game, even if it's not beatable now, to kind of test out your might with. So as we already inactive, as we start to add more builds in, some of which are going to come out soon, and some of which will come out further away, we will, the Nightmare 4 will become more viable, and people will have more choice, which is really important.
Oh my goodness, this is actually the question that I am very shocked that I didn't see earlier. Maybe when is the PS4 pre-alpha coming out?
So guys, we will have more announcements for the PlayStation 4 version on Monday. If you take a look at the PlayStation blog Monday, you'll get some fun announcements there that may be related to that question. Also, I think we've had some questions earlier about the PS4 version and how you will obtain it. So it will be pre-alpha, similar to the PC version. If you buy a currency pack, you will get pre-alpha access on the PS4, and then we're going to be following pretty much, it'll be the same packages that are available on PC. So whether you're on PS4 or PC, you'll have the same options, and then it's very important to us. And it's worth noting there that some of the packages on PC right now have stuff in them like hero deck slots that were not available, for example, back here when we had the hero manager. So those will be added in retroactively for you if you get that pack. But you will basically be the same as the PC version at the point in time where the PC was at this build.
I think we'll take 2 more questions and then jump. Okay, so ULX Red 360 asked something that I've seen on the forums too. Can you add an option to remove the pop-up contextual icons over towers?
Yeah, I think that actually system just needs more work. So that's definitely something that we need to talk to everyone about, and I'm sure it's on your community support list. But yeah, it's definitely probably needs a different position or something like that. So it's something we're definitely going to be looking into.
I think that James was actually talking about potentially increasing the delay on when they appear, because one of the issues is that you can't ping an individual defense.
Yeah.
So
I think it's more than just a delay. I think
Yeah.
it's that it surrounds them, and that's just kind of confusing to the eye to look at. But, you know, if they were all on top or all on bottom or in the corner of the screen, I think there's a lot of ways to do it where it's less confusing. I think if anyone's playing Metal Gear Solid 5 right now, they have those kind of contextual icons for basically everything in the whole game. They just put them kind of on the bottom near where the characters, and they work really well. So.
Do you want to answer Spooky Snacks' question, Josh?
This is the last question.
All right.
And I hope we don't have problems uploading this to YouTube, because sometimes it doesn't like Twitch videos over an hour.
Yeah. Go ahead, hit me. Where'd he go?
All right.
He just disappeared.
He's like, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Alright guys, last question. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. There will be more reveals. We're going to have a sneak peek at the next PC patch, and we'll have more information on the PS4 and be playing the PS4 version again. Fortunately, Josh will not be here though.
No.
All right. Last question from Spooky Snacks is: will there be seasonal updates and will there be mini games in the social hub?
So by seasonal, are they talking about like Diablo seasons, or are they talking about holiday?
I think holiday.
I feel like they're talking about weather stuff, like we showed
There-
in the Influence Week video.
There will be seasonal updates. And the other question was...
Mini games in the top.
And I don't think we have plans for mini games right now. We really like the idea. We think mini games would be awesome. They're great ways to kind of break up what you're playing. But we think there's other kind of important things to focus on right now before we start to focus on mini games. Cool. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We will see you next week. Next week's reveal is going to be pretty awesome. So see you guys then. Maybe we'll give you an update on the ranged weapons too with all the speed stuff.
It was good to be on the stream.
Sweet. Later, guys.
All right.
Hold up.